You're watching Plan, Prepare, Survive, a Chris 6 News Hurricane Special, sponsored by Flint Hills Resources and Window World.
How do you measure a storm? Well, when it comes to tropical storms and hurricanes, we use a scale called the Saffir-Simpson wind scale. It measures the maximum sustained winds in a storm. But you may know category 1 through 5, 5 being the most destructive of storms, but do you know how they could impact your home for a coastal community right here in the coastal bend? Well, let's bring up an example community. We have this home along the coast, and right now, category 1 conditions. We've got the seas churning up a little bit. This home is losing a few shingles, and palm fronds begin flying, but for the most part, well-built homes can usually withstand the strength of category 1 winds. Let's up the ante now to category 2 storms. This is when wind speeds, maximum sustained winds are at 96 miles per hour. And at this point, we notice some more damage. We have moderate damage to homes, vegetation destroyed. And again, it's important to note the storm surge that can be associated for these homes because we live along the coast. At this point, there will be damage to your home. Now, major category 3. This is when our wind speeds begin at 111 miles per hour, and things start getting dicey. I hope you've evacuated at this point because you probably don't want to be around for this experience. This home will sustain extensive damage and lose shingles, damage to the roof and siding, vegetation destroyed. Not a good place to be in a storm. Hopefully you've made other plans to leave town, because now we move things up to major category 4. At this point, catastrophic damage is happening to most structures in town. That storm surge pushes on in. We see flooding around town, trees down, and debris flying all around. There are several hazards that are happening at this point. And at the end of the scale, category 5, the most destructive of hurricanes at this point, wind speeds in excess of 157 miles per hour. Most structures are completely destroyed, and you don't want to be around for this. So it's a good idea to have a plan in place before the storm arrives.
Planning out your evacuation route is a vital part of your hurricane planning process. If you make the decision to leave when one of these storms threatens the coastal bend, these are the signs that you want to watch out for to help guide you out of harm's way. The city of Corpus Christi is divided into 5 evacuation zones. The zone you live in determines which route you'll take. Let's take a closer look. If you live along the immediate coastline, including Padre Island, do not take State Highway 35 as it parallels the coastline. You'll want to get to Interstate 37 North and drive away from the coastline. Those who live in Flower Bluff, downtown Corpus Christi, North Beach, and parts of the south side along Oso Creek should take SPID over to Interstate 37 North and out of the danger zone. Non-coastal areas of Flower Bluff, parts of the east side of the city, and those who live north of Interstate 37 need to take I-37 north out of town. Those who live on the south side will take South Staples, which becomes FM 2444, to Highway 286 South, and from there you take FM 70 West to Bishop. You can also take Weber, which become FM 43, out to Driscoll. Those who live on the west and northwest side of Corpus Christi can take Agnes, which becomes Highway 44 to Robstown, or Crosstown to FM 43. All of these routes take you to inland areas. That's because you want to drive away from the coast. And if you make that important decision to evacuate, plan to leave early and prepare for a longer than expected drive time. Once you've evacuated, wait for the all clear from emergency management officials before attempting to return home. You can head to christv.com/hurricane for all the details you need to know about evacuation routes.
Time to prepare that hurricane kit, but first, check out some of these ideas. Let's start with food. It's easy to reach for junk food, but remember to include food that will actually fill you up. Protein bars and meal replacement shakes are good items to have on hand. Canned goods are a no-brainer. Just remember your can opener. If it can't sit in a box for 6 months, it doesn't belong in your hurricane kit. Now, when stocking up on water, aim for 1 gallon per person per day. But you can make do at home. If you're like me, you have plenty of tumblers, shaker cups, and water coolers. Just fill those up with water and save money. And don't forget the essentials, a first aid kit, hygiene products, and specialty items for babies and the elderly, plus rechargeable battery packs for those electronic devices.
The initial forecast for the hurricane season is here, but what's the science behind the predictions? We'll look at what factors they consider before making that forecast.
Being prepared means making sure you're covered. Your insurance checkup is next.
And be sure to join the Coastal Bend Weather Watchers group on Facebook. We've made this exclusive Facebook group just for you. Here you'll find weather insights for your neighbors and all of the Coastal Bend.